Alright folks, let's kick things off with our Computex 2024 coverage with pretty much everything Asus announced today. After they unveiled a ton of notebooks already during CES earlier this year, they did not slow down one bit and just revealed a bunch of exciting notebooks, and we had the chance to get a pretty exclusive hands-on prior to the show. And not only did they completely redesign their ProArt creator lineup, added some more affordable options for the gamers amongst you guys, and this super sleek 16-inch Zenbook, but they also did a pretty impressive team up with Team Red, since every laptop right here in front of me is actually powered by AMD CPUs. And I am not talking about the lackluster Ryzen 8000 refresh from CES. Guys, this is proper next-gen stuff. But we are talking notebooks for now, and we will most likely cover the new chips in a separate video, so please make sure to subscribe. Until then, make sure to get your favorite refreshment, grab a seat and let me tell you about these notebooks. Before we get into the more premium segment of the new lineup, why not start with the gamers right away, since these are equally exciting. While the Strix notebooks sit at the very top of Asus's ROG family of hardcore gamers, the TUF series delivers a more wallet-friendly alternative. And aside from a new 16-inch edition coming with AMD's new Strixpoint silicon and up to an RTX 4070, we finally get a 14-incher for the very first time as well. And with a pretty clean design, lightweight plastic chassis and still pretty generous specs and features, you should definitely keep an eye out for this one if they price it right. Very much like its bigger brother, it comes with Team Red's next-gen mobile CPU platform and up to an RTX 4060 with a max TGP of 110 watts, which is actually pretty impressive for such a small machine. There's also lots to like on the display side of things for both of these, with a 16x10 QHD Plus panel running at 165Hz with advanced Optimus and G-Sync support. When it comes to ports, both models should have you covered for most occasions, with the new standardized power connector, HDMI 2.1 USB-C 4, a Type-A 3.2 Gen 2 and the audio combo port on the left, a micro SD card reader and a USB-C and A, both again in the 3.2 Gen 2 standard on the right. The A16 comes with the same selection but shuffles the layout slightly with everything on the left except the second USB-A, which remains on the right for unrestricted mouse movements, and an added gigabit network check. Again, chassis quality might not quite be up there with the G14 or the G16, but you still get aluminium covers at the top and bottom for the A14, which actually makes for a pretty premium feeling little notebook that is very light while still offering quite a bit of gaming and computing grunt. I also really like the keyboards for both of these, and once again the smaller sibling is getting a bit of extra care with a sizable glass trackpad. And while the AMD platform is betting on soldered memory entirely for some added memory speeds, both models still let you expand your storage capacity with a second NVMe. Alright folks, that should cover the gaming side of things, and I must admit I am pretty impressed by these two so far. The A14 especially looks like a great alternative to the G14 if you can live without an OLED and are willing to treat a more premium chassis for a lighter laptop, with a slight performance boost thanks to the higher power levels. But how about we get into content creation rather than consumption with the new ProArt laptops? And let's start with the P16, which is basically a G16 but in stealth mode. And compared to its more mainstream brothers, it trades the 240Hz QHD OLEDs for a higher-res 4K panel that is unfortunately limited to 60Hz, even though it is a touchscreen and supports a stylus. I kind of get the reasoning behind it. I mean, you can still get the G16 if you are into gaming as well, but man, this screen looks simply awesome and 4K 120 would have been pretty sweet. It also maxes out with a 4070, which I think is a bit strange since creators would be much more willing to stomach the upcharge for a 4080 or 4090 to take advantage of the higher video memory configurations, which are actually pretty important for some content creation workflows. As an upgrade to the G16, you can order the P16 with up to 64 gigs of RAM, even though it's still soldered, and you can still easily expand your storage with a second SSD. The rest is again pretty much in line with the Zephyrus, so it has the same ports, the excellent tactile keyboard, large trackpad and amazing speakers, just in a much more subtle and professional package. The PX13 however is a complete redesign, and while it's inspired by last year's Flow X13, it's very much its own thing, and I really cannot wait to get my hands on a proper review sample for this puppy. At first glance it appears to be a scaled down version of the P16, but it retains the 2-in-1 functionality of the Flow, even though the chassis is quite a bit thicker to accommodate higher power levels for both the CPU and the GPU. Very much like the bigger ProArt brothers, it comes with AMD's 12-core Strixpoint CPUs, once again combined with Nvidia's mid-rangers up to a 4070, running at a max TGP of 90 watts. With up to 32 gigs of soldered memory and 2 TB of storage, which can also be upgraded with a second drive. And by the way, since I have referenced the G16 quite a bit up until now, it will also be available with Team Red's new silicon, but that one will top out with an RTX 4070. In the display department, we once again get a stunning OLED, which unfortunately is also limited to 60 Hz. This is again a very strange decision in my opinion, but it may also be that there are simply no faster panels available in this form factor. Port selection, however, is pretty robust for a small 13-inch convertible with a USB-A and C 3.2 Gen 2 and a microSD card reader on the right, while the left side of the matte black chassis houses the power connector, an HDMI 2.1 and a USB 4 port alongside the audio combo jack. All of this fits into a pretty thin and lightweight chassis just at a little under 1.4 kg, making this quite the intriguing on-the-go creation machine. But if this still sounds too much for you, we also got a sneak peek at the first Snapdragon-powered ProArt device, the all-new PZ13, which at its core is a super thin tablet with a massive battery that still weighs just about 850 grams. It shares the same overall stealthy appearance with its x86 siblings, but has to make some sacrifices when it comes to I/O, with only a pair of USB 4 Type-Cs and a full-size SD card reader, which is of course still pretty good considering we are basically dealing with a tablet here. To turn it into more of a laptop, you get a magnetic back cover that doubles as a stand, and a keyboard that is similar to what we already know from last year's FlowSet 13. Unfortunately, this is only a super early engineering sample, so I wasn't able to turn it on. But with its low-powered Qualcomm silicon, high-res OLED, up to 1 TB of storage and 16 gigs of RAM, this could be the perfect always-with-you creative companion when being out and about. Alright, that covers the new ProArt lineup, and before we wrap things up for today, let's have a look at the new Zenbook. This one right here is the all-new S16, and if you are in the market for a super thin, premium all-round entertainment machine, well, this might be it. With a sleek all-aluminium chassis and a so-called Zero-Aluminum display lid, which has an almost organic feel to it, this one feels and looks absolutely gorgeous. And it's not all show as well, since the 16-incher is powered once again by AMD's new Strixpoint silicon, which means a faster CPU and faster integrated GPU, making the S16 hopefully quite capable despite its form factor. On the display side of things, we get a 3K touch-enabled 120Hz OLED. And when it comes to I/O, Asus shows once again that a thin chassis does not automatically mean sacrificing ports, with a pair of USB 4 Type-Cs, HDMI, USB-A and a full-size SD card reader. And with a few gimmicks like trackpad gestures that allow you to skip through videos, change system volume or display brightness, and an overall very subtle styling, this might be a strong contender for your next everyday notebook. Alright folks, that should cover it for now. Once again, this was just a preview and these are all just engineering samples, and I wasn't allowed to do any performance testing as always. But so far I am impressed. As always, Asus is trying to rethink and reiterate what users may want to see in a notebook, be it for casual entertainment or for high-end content creation applications. And while I do not agree with everything they did with the new ProArt lineup, I still cannot wait to get my hands on them. The PX13 especially looks very compelling to me. But please folks, let me know what you think, sound off in the comments below. That should also be it for today, so make sure to hit that like and especially that sub button on your way out so you do not miss our remaining Computex coverage. Thanks for watching, my name is Alex, you have been fantastic and I see you all in the next one. Take care.